Welcome back. So we're at part 3, and this is all for roofers who are interested in doing SEO for their website and just having a very smooth process, one that's, has the most chance of succeeding. So we're on part 3, and now we're going to talk about offer messaging strategy sessions. So this is something you could do with yourself, but this is typically the steps that I take all of my clients through. Before we were talking about, directories, setting those up. Um, this is actually probably a step that should have come before because a lot of this information is what would factor into directories. So sorry about that, but we're going to take care of it now. So what are we going to do? So when I get a new business, I need to know, I need to get as much information as I can so I don't have to keep asking them along the way these little questions. I don't have to get stopped and then ask the client and then continue and then ask them again. I just get it all taken care of in one or a few strategy sessions. And you're going to see pretty quick like why I'm asking the questions I am. So this is a really great strategy as well because we're going to need this to write the sales copy for your pages. So service pages, service area pages, could even factor a little bit into blog posts, but not as much. Uh, Still, these pages are crucial. And also this copy can factor into the Google Business Profile copy that we were mentioning in the previous part 2. So let's jump in. So what are we going to do first? First, we're going to take care of the intake form. So there's two big forms. So there's the intake, and that's like kind of the general business information. And then we have individual forms or kind of messaging forms for different services and different products. So there's going to be one page per product or one page per service. And it's it's really, really nice to have all of these because it just makes things so much easier down the line. So let me show you the intake form that I use. I've used different versions of this, and this is the most recent one that I've kind of consolidated today. The other ones I think were a bit longer. I think this is very concise. It has pretty much everything you'd need. So first we're gonna have like the business name. So it could be like Tom's Roofing. Who do you want to sign as? So if you are someone like me who's taking on clients, it's nice to have what they're going to sign as, if I'm going to send them a contract. So it could be Tom Reynolds, business address, 123 Parkway, phone number, etc. So you kind of get the idea. Business category, um, maybe they have like a specific kind of category that you might not be aware of. So maybe it's chiropractics. It could be like maybe if they're a doctor, they might have some sort of specialty you're not familiar with, like nephrology or something like that. And this is helpful because it helps guide your decision in what Google Business categories to select. Business hours, pretty straightforward. Payment methods accepted. This is nice because maybe they don't accept Discover Card on their site. So it's very good to know. Um, and also if you're not like me and asking clients like what their information is, but you're actually just doing this yourself for your own business, it could also help people on your site. If you're not going to accept Discover Card, you could mention on the site like, hey, we don't accept Discover, we just accept MasterCard, etc. Right? So your business website URL. um, Even though this might be your business and you might already know this, is this just a handy sheet to reference in the future? Uh, like, let's say you're making a directory and you're just putting in by hand every time. Let's say it's like tomsroofing.com. Let's say you're typing that in manually. That's a kind of a recipe for disaster because you might actually do that. And then you have the wrong URL in your directory. So that's not great. So you want to be copying and pasting versus typing out things when you're building directories. So good thing to keep in mind. Business person to contact, maybe maybe I'm talking to somebody at a business, but they have a partner who I should be talking to. So maybe Shane Reynolds is the person I should be talking with. Okay, about your company. So this is kind of helpful to help craft your about page, and also uh, could help with the business profile as Google business profile as well. So let's say it's like 1990 company description. Uh, we install high quality um, roofs that uh, last for decades, something like that. Social media URLs like, do you have a Facebook page? Do you have LinkedIn, etc.? So I need to know those URLs. Logo, um, also important because that's going to factor into directories. So I'll need a link or some kind of file for that. This is just to help me know like a little bit about your history, and just to check, what kinds of things have SEO companies done in the past? Did it work? Did it not work? Just helpful to give me an idea of like where you're at. Is anything wrong currently with your site? This is something you might want to take care of. Take a look at your Google Search Console. That might tell you if you have any problems or manual actions, profile suspensions. Maybe you have a Google Business Profile and you just want to optimize it, but it's actually suspended. So, very important things for me to know. If this is just something you're doing on your own, it could be a good thing to take a look at. Maybe one of the reasons your rankings are suffering is because you have some penalty that you don't know about. Okay, service overview. So this is kind of a general, what is like the main point of your business, right? So we got competitors. Who are they? Maybe it's like Ralph's Roofing. Maybe they're your competitor, like your big competitor. So I just need to know a few of those because, as we learned earlier, you can use their keywords. You can look at their directories that they're on, see their backlinks, etc. Organizations. So these are sort of like trust building things. So maybe you're part of like the Roofer Association of San Diego, if that were a thing. Notable mentions. Maybe you were on the news somewhere. Who knows? List all your. Um, yes. So perhaps you have services that you sell, but you're just not really keen to. You don't want to push them very far. You don't think they're a great return on investment for you. Maybe they're just something that you offer as like a maintenance kind of thing, but it's not your main money maker. So it's just kind of a good idea to get a handle on what services you really enjoy doing and like what make you the most money. So maybe it's like roof installs. That's probably like the big money maker. And then down roof installs, maybe gutters, and then at the bottom maybe power washing of roofs. Could be like that. And it could be the same here in order of expense: roof installs, gutters, power washing. Listing all your service areas in order of preference. So maybe yeah, you're in San Diego, but you don't like going to certain places that are kind of far. So like avoid um, areas that are further from San Diego. Good to know. Yeah, what's the main thing you do? So it's roofing. And what do you want people to do on your site? Do you want them to fill out a form, call you? Maybe you have certain information on a form that you really need, like square footage of roof. Maybe you need an image of the roof to give an accurate quote because there could be like a lot of hips and valleys and details that could increase or decrease the cost of the roof. And yeah, so just well, what do you want them to do? Do you want them to call you? Do you prefer calls? Uh, Maybe there's I haven't really seen it much with roofing websites, but if you had another site that was e-commerce, it could be like you want people to purchase products, but this is for roofing. Okay. Um, and yes, okay, like so what kind of information do you want to collect on the contact forms? Like maybe name, email, phone, like square footage of roof, maybe that's optional, that kind of thing. Great. So that's it, not too hard, not too scary. So you have this SEO intake form, just keep it somewhere that's easy to reference. And then when you're making directories, you just come here, copy paste the number 111, 111, 111. So that's your number, tomroofing at gmail.com or something like that. Business category, roofing, business hours, 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, something like that. Okay. And then tomroofing.com. Great. So you have all this information, and when you build uh, the directories, you just copy paste it in. Okay. So now let's turn to the offer messaging template. So now that we have this main intake page, these are just for like the individual services and individual products. So for each service, you're going to have a service page, right? And how are you going to write that service page? Well, this is going to factor into that. When you have everything filled in here, it makes it very easy to do. So you'll have your service, so let's say roof installation. Who's your target buyer? Could be maybe like 30s, 30 plus. Oh, what's going on here? Guess I'm having a little connection issue. Okay, who's your target buyer? So 30 plus year olds, any gender, located in San Diego. Secondary buyer, probably the same. Price of the product or service. So roof installation probably varies. Varies maybe by like type of, maybe we'll call this like metal roof installation, because you might have like metal versus shingle versus slate, which could all have wildly different prices.